Now that I have Lamington, I'm going to milk the raids. Wait a second, I've already reached the buff cap. What am I supposed to do with my supporters now? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Disgaea RPG. Today we'll talk about units that are deceptively good. These units are good. Some may even be considered top tier, but there are some flaws in their kits that you should take into consideration before you roll for them. Some of the problems these units have are not innate to them, but to how the game works, so let's check them out, starting with Lamington. The gorgeous unit of this month is an excellent int monster who reaches the int buff cap quickly thanks to his abilities. He's made to beat content very quickly, and he is easy to use, so what's his issue? For Lamington, the problem lies in supporters. Most supporters give main stat buffs. There's only a handful of supporters who give different kind of buffs, like damage up, elemental damage up, skill damage up, etc. Because of this, he won't work as well in a standard 1 attacker and 4 supporters composition. If you want to use him, go with a double attacker composition, and try to use supporters who can use a party-wide int buff like Summer Desco and Leone's Princess Edna. Next is Supreme Edna. Just like Lamington, she has very selfish abilities, which will help her reach the attack buff cap, so it's not surprising that she suffers from the same problems. The lack of special damage and crit supporters hinders her damage output, as she doesn't need that many attack buffers. If you had your eyes set on her, I would suggest that you go for Supreme Girl Harley instead. She slightly buffs her own attack, but she gets big crit buffs from her abilities and skills, so she benefits more from standard supporters than Supreme Edna. Peta is another good unit with a couple flaws. She's one of the few crit supporters in the game, but her problem is that she specializes in quick battles. She gives 12 SP at the start of battle to all units with her any 1, and a 25% attack buff for 2 turns with her any 7, and her high cost AoE attack, while very useful, can only be used every 10 turns. She does have crit rate and crit damage buffs, as well as a skill damage boost, but when we compare her with Archangel Flown and Formal Artina, she doesn't seem that appealing. Next is another collab unit, Seedle. He is great as a main DPS or sub DPS. His skills and abilities are perfect for increasing his damage, but as a platinum unit, he got stuck with 13.5 million attack. It's terrible that he doesn't reach the 15 million attack, because he can buff himself with a special buff that increases his single target damage by 55%. Timmy, also known as Beastmaster or Beastammer, is a support for monster teams. Timmy is your typical supporter that needs to take action before your main DPS. She has good abilities and skills, but there's 2 problems with her. First of all, she is a humanoid unit, which means some units like Overlord Asagi and Desco Zeno don't get the full benefit from their abilities. The other problem is that she isn't good for quick fights. She gives a 40% buff to all main stats except for HP with her AoE buff, and her single target buff, which gives 10% crit rate and 50% more attack and int, only lasts 1 turn. She isn't bad, but if you need to make your monster team tankier with a humanoid unit, why not use Supreme Laharl? On the Madoka Magica collab, there will be a ton of good units, but Kyoko isn't one of them. Just like Seedle, she tries to be a competent DPS, but she doesn't have the stats for it. With 13.5 million attack, she can take full advantage of her good abilities and skills, and she isn't as good as a supporter as other units in this collab. Last unit that we'll talk about today is Serafina Zeno. Serafina Zeno is a debuffer with buffing capabilities, similar to Riven's, but she isn't as effective because of the debuff mechanics. More often than not, there will be a limit to how much you can debuff the enemy, which is why a specialized debuffer like her isn't broken like Riven's. If you want to use her, try putting her next to a unit who can reach the buff cap quickly, like Lamington or Supreme Edna. She has an attack and int buff which gives SP regen and cleanses debuffs from one ally, but her main trait is to cancel enemy buffs and debuff their defenses. And that's it guys. Do you think there are more units which can take full advantage of their kits because of the mechanics or some other factor? What would be a good team for those units? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, share, like, subscribe. See you next time. Bye!